welcome to the podcast, Niels.
Thank you, Fredrik. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, this is going to be really fun because I guess we should start with roughly what do you do?
Yes, I can just say briefly. I'm in from day to day. I'm working mainly as a creative director at Purple Scout in Copenhagen. But I'm also the head of the office, so I run the team here, and the team is in the Danish office is specialized within 3D computer graphics and AR and VR. So that's sort of the short version.
yeah, the very short version. It's fun because we were three people who founded this podcast, and my other two friends there, they have actually worked at Purple Scout.
Ah, nice.
Many years back, so I always get this positive association whenever someone mentions Purple Scout.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And also, I've been at a conference where they handed out Purple Stout beer, which was also a very nice touch.
Yeah, we try and make the purple family grow and stuff. So yeah, we spread the purple feeling around. So
yes, it's a good mission. It's a good mission.
Yeah.
So anyway, the reason we're here is, of course, the AR VR bit, because I'm really interested in AR and VR overall, and I'm a happy player of games on my Quest, but I've never really gotten further than that. So I thought it would be interesting to talk to someone who actually works with the stuff and try and figure out a bit more what it's like and where it's going and where it might come
sure.
from. So which end do we start? We have lots of interesting stuff, but it's a kind of loose and weird question. But what's it like to actually work with VR and AR?
I have myself a long background in 3D computer graphics. I've worked with 3D most of my professional career. Started all the way back then when I did my studies. I got into it, and I've been working with 3D computer animation and all this sort of stuff ever since. And I've always been looking for what is the next step and what is the natural progression of the 3D when we suddenly could play 3D computer games that started to look like real life or close to the real environments, and making these environments so beautiful. Then the fact that you now can put on a headset and jump into that world just is exciting in itself.
Yeah.
For those of you that have tried VR, or if you haven't, go and try it. You can try it even in arcades and things like this. It's amazing. It's an amazing experience. And it's a very versatile experience as well, because you can do anything from training and simulation to, like you mentioned, games and entertainment and stuff like this. And if we talk about the AR, the VR, the differences are also big, even though people don't know that yet. But it's gonna change the way that we see things when AR become mainstream, and you walk around with glasses or contact lenses or whatever you have on to have your digital layer on top of the real world. It's gonna change dramatically. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, it in that way it feels a little bit easier to think about VR, because it's, like you said, it's still natural next generation for 3D and gaming immersive experiences. But AR is more like, it could be anything. Someone will come up with a killer app that we didn't think of, and everyone's going to have it in front of their face.
Yeah, and that is what's gonna if we sort of take the differences between the AR and the VR in a broad sense. The VR is somewhere where you go to a different place. You want to be somewhere else. Yeah. Whether or not that's been pre-recorded, or if it's part of a game, or it's like I mentioned before, a training simulation or something like that. Even big companies like that instead of sending people around half the way around the world to learn something, you just stick them in a headset and they can learn how to fly a helicopter, for example, without even sitting in a helicopter and stuff like this. You can learn how to put engines together and things like this. All sorts of those where it's being used in business sense is excites me in a certain way. Obviously, games and the immersive like this experience of being part of a game and immerse yourself into a different world is very exciting. But when you add the, what do we call it, like the professional side, which is also where obviously in Purple Scout we are being asked from companies to help progress that in new ways. And it's definitely the fact that you can go somewhere else, like it could be anywhere, is impressive. But if you take the AR element, if we come back to that, here you have the real world at the same time, so you can put a digital layer on top of your existing world so that it can react on the things that is around you as well. Which is anyone that have tried VR, they know that, I hit the cat, or I walked into the wall or something like that.
I wave my arm.
And that's what that breaks the illusion straight away. The immersiveness disappears as soon as you. In the old days, when all VR had cables hanging out of them and stuff like this, you always ended up standing on the cables for some reason. But with the Quest, at least you can you have more freedom. But then you also move more, and that means that you can walk into things.
Yeah, I really realized that those things when we moved to a new house a year or two ago, and I suddenly had the opportunity of playing with my Quest in an empty room. And you can actually move around a bit without worrying about, is the TV right over there, or can I move one step to the left? No, I can move several steps in all directions. It's an incredible difference,
and it does make a huge difference. I tried. I was so lucky to try a VR setup in Belgium last year. Oh no, sorry, in a little more than a year ago. Where it was a fire training simulation where you had to walk around, and they had then made an area that was, I think it was the size of half a football field or something like this.
Whoa!
And you walk around with a VR headset, with a laptop in a rucksack, basically. So it's really high end, really high quality VR experience. And then it was immersed in a way that you had real elements in the VR experience, so that when you reached out and catch or pick up the fire extinguisher, then it's actually there physically. So you're grabbing it in real life. So it was actually tracking real components as well as virtual, and then putting virtual components, so that you could actually. Then there was a burning car which you had to obviously put out, but the car wasn't there and the burning wasn't there, and so. But the fact that you actually had this connection, this like this tactile feedback that you actually picked something real up, that made an insane kind of difference in the whole experience, and that you could walk freely. You could walk all the way around the car, and you could basically go anywhere. That was amazing. And then obviously there was 3 or 4 people in there, so that's also exciting.
Yeah, and I think I heard they had at some Oculus event a couple of years back. I think they actually had like a first-person shooter game at a football field as well. I think they had to hack it especially to support that, because the Quest couldn't support that normally, but they did it. And I can imagine that's really a different level of VR.
It is. But you did ask what excites me, and this is some of the things that excites me with working with this field. Obviously, all of the knowledge of 3D and real time 3D and understanding, optimizing for 3D graphics for doing. Every single little 3D. Maybe people don't realize that, but every single little 3D prop or element inside a world is made in many different levels, so that it as you move closer to it, it becomes more and more detailed. And the further away it is, the more or the less detailed it gets. And this is all to do with optimization of so that you don't get this lag of the world, because there's nothing worse than in the very early days of VR. I think people that have tried it early on has also experienced this sickness that you can get when you don't have the latency up at a very high level. So that is definitely some of the things that are extremely high on the to-do list when working with VR. So
keep everything moving smoothly and frequently. Yeah. So what when it comes to VR devices specifically, what's the best one out there right now? Is there any particular leader?
There's again, it depends on the application. What is it used for? Like there's definitely Oculus Quest is definitely the best one out there if you want the entertainment, if you want to play games, if you want to hang out with friends in chat and like VR chats and stuff like that. My kid, she's 14, and she's hanging out with people all over the world, in VR, and go get go get a Quest if you have any desire or want to try this. I think they're down to in Danish kroner, it's around 3,000 kroner or something. I don't know what it costs in Swedish kroner. But
no, I think it's something similar.
Yeah.
They're really nicely priced.
Yeah, that is basically the best headset for trying it, for being at home, doing fun stuff with VR. But if we're talking high-end simulation like car designers or other where the quality of the headset and even eye tracking and all these kind of things are important to the application. It's the Finnish company Vaijo that has the best headset out there. It has got a human eye resolution. Sounds crazy, but that means that I've actually we don't have, unfortunately we don't have one here. I think they start around 50,000 krona or something for one headset. But I have tried it. I've tried it a few times. Volvo is doing a lot of work with Vaijo, and I did try one of theirs. They have a video. Oculus has this as well now, which is called video pass through, so that you can pass through what you're seeing in the real world, so that you see it together with the virtual world. So you get some kind of AI experience with it. And I did try standing next to a real Volvo, and then next to me there was a virtual Volvo, and I could not see the difference between the two. That's how good the quality is. And we're talking,
that's a big step up.
That's crazy, and it's including reflections of real-time reflections of light sources and things like that in the environment, the real environment. So that's reflected onto the virtual car as well. So that's insane when we get there. But that just shows that it's possible.
Exactly. It's just a matter of time of bringing down the cost and complexity, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because that's something I've tried. Using immersed. I think it's called one of those apps for the Quest for letting you work with your computer in VR. And I mean, I really like the feel of doing that, but there you clearly notice that you could use a lot more resolution, because it's hard to get it's hard to get good readable text and stuff like that, and sizing things properly.
And it after a while, if you sit and work with it longer, you also get like eye strain and things like this. It's then you definitely need to go and to other type of VR headsets if that's the goal. It's okay for bringing something up quickly and making a decision, based on something like that. But for actually working with it, it's not good enough. But again, Apple is expected to come out with their AR VR headset sometime later on this year. Is the rumors anyway? And they will probably, hardware quality, resolution wise, they'll probably land somewhere in between these two examples we just talking about now. So
do you think it will make a big difference to the VR AR market if Apple does release something, or is it just the one people will be talking about?
I don't think we'll get a repeat of Google Glass or whatever it was called.
No.
And I don't think that Apple's device will be the AR glasses that we are expecting will be there in the future. It will be somewhere in between. And for now, I think it'll be a combination headset. That means it'll be a VR pass-through AR experience. At least one of them, but they might even come out with two products because, again, back to what are you using the device for is very much what kind of applications. What is it? Is it for walking down the high street, or is it is it for, like you mentioned, working in front of like sitting in your lounge and working and reading stuff? What is the application, and what is it used for? That will very much be where we are going. I think already now we see AR headsets that are very specific to very specific purpose. Like there's a Kickstarter company that has made a ghost runner, so that it's a pair of glasses that you wear when you're running, and you can then see a virtual character running next to you, but it was your time the day before or last time you were running, so that you can run against yourself or other people or together with other people as well. So that's one example where an AR experience and headset will be for a specific purpose. I think that future we also see them with swimming and skiing and stuff like this, where you a little bit like from your if you have a newer car, you have head-up displays in the car that shows you the arrows and your speed and stuff like this. We have those smart glasses will be coming normal over the next coming years for different purpose. But this AR glass that might become every day, all the time kind of AR glass that everybody is expecting will come from Apple. I think that's a little bit further out in the future, because we haven't even seen what kind of applications that is it just to get notifications? Then it already is possible with Snapchat's latest spectacles and stuff like this. But it's all down to what are you going to use it for, and that's also the apps that are going to be within this area will also be dependent on the device, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Where do they want to position it? And I think that's really interesting. If we're thinking about a VR headset from Apple, if they were to release that, how would they position it? What do they imagine the killer apps for their VR headset would be? Because it's not like Apple is likely to promote gaming as the big thing, because they're not really a gaming company in that way.
No, but again, I think it's about 90% of all mobile games is played on an Apple device or something like that.
Yeah, it's
So even though
outrageous.
they're not a games developer, then the developers are out there. So if they
that's
do
true.
come with the VR glasses, then they will expect a whole that everybody will, instead of making apps for your mobile phone, they will make apps for their glasses, and that is going to happen, no matter whether we like it or not. It's inevitable, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way.
Yeah.
That's the way we want it.
And I haven't even mentioned the M word yet, the metaverse, but
oh yeah,
everybody is talking about the metaverse as one thing, and especially Meta themselves or Facebook. I think it's not just it's gonna the metaverse is just gonna be a new internet, or a new universe, but it'll have a lot of metaverses in it. Like we're already seeing Fortnite in the entertainment side of things. We have like VR chat I mentioned earlier for the Oculus. That is there's Facebook's own Horizon for Horizon Workspace for meetings, and Microsoft Mesh, and all these different areas. We've got Roblox, and like there's so many different metaverses out there already. Creating new areas and new ways to be in, to work in, and whether or not you enter these spaces with a pair of VR headsets or an AR headset or a mobile device or even in front of your computer, that doesn't really matter. That's just a matter of what are you interested in? Like today on the internet, you go, you're part of some groups, and you're part of different societies already online and stuff like this. This is just going to carry on, but in 3D and in some kind of metaverse. So
I mean, I guess the thing that I haven't really understood is why they decided to start pushing the term metaverse right now. Because to me, it feels like it's this big label, but it sounds kind of corny in a way, and it feels like it does it mean anything more than the stuff we have now, or is it just
I think it's a very, very good trendy word for talking to stakeholders and investors and all these kind of things, to help push money into something that everybody is expecting to become this big, great thing. I'm not sure that everybody will use the metaverse as a thing, but we will all become part of it in some way. There's a lot of talk about avatars, and there's a lot of talk about NFTs, that you can have digital properties that you own, and this kind of thing. The big brands will jump onto this. Even Nike has already jumped into Roblox. I don't know if people know Roblox, but it's like some weird little creative world where you can create your own little space, and you can create your some experiences and interactive. It's amazing. But Nike has actually made something called Nikeland, I think it's called.
Wow.
And what you can do is, if you have a profile inside of Roblox, you can enter Nikeland, or you can go into their stores where they have big displays where you can try it, and you can go and dive into it. And that is a little metaverse in itself that is promoting Nike. And the same way these NFTs, like these digital properties that you can sell and own and make money on selling and stuff on blockchains and crypto and stuff. All this will somehow become some kind of new money within the metaverse, I would think. Looking into the future. But the funny thing with with the NFTs in general is that I think it's one of the things that have made the most money in the shortest period of time, and that nobody in the whole world knows about. It's crazy. It's, there might be 3 or 4% of the world that knows about what NFTs and blockchain and stuff is all about. So it's kind of crazy. But,
But so I guess then that part of the point of using the term metaverse is maybe to get groups of people to not think about specific stuff. I'm thinking if you say VR to someone, they get this image of someone sitting alone in a dark room with a visor so they can't see anything and headphones so they can't hear anything. Yeah. But if you say metaverse, people start to think more general terms, perhaps. And
that this is also why I think that AR glasses will take over VR glasses eventually, because of that reason. Because of that, we need to get away from this, that when you put a VR headset on, you do disappear from the world you're in, or at least in some way, and you're not aware of what's going on around you, and stuff like this. But I think I think when you say the metaverse, like as a big thing, I think we have to look at it as a thing that's going to evolve over the next 5-10 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And it will eventually be the new internet in a certain way, because of, I don't know if eventually we'll lose our screens on our laptops.
It would make sense.
Or, because then you could just sit, you might also lose the keyboard, I don't know. And the glasses can see your fingers doing something, or you will do it with gestures instead, or something, or voice, or whatever. There's a whole new generation of, again, back to my daughter, she's making notes with Siri. So, why use a keyboard anyway in 10 years' time? There'll be so many things that will just happen. But one of these things, back to the VR, why I think that is not working 100% on its own, is because you disappear from the real world. But obviously you would like to do that once in a while.
Yeah, of course.
But because it's the same reason why you sit down in front of your PlayStation or whatever and play GTA or whatever. That is to get away from, get a break or whatever you would call it. And that's where VR is amazing.
Yeah,
definitely. But for as a working tool, for creators that's gonna help create the metaverse, they will live in some kind of headset and build their worlds inside of the VR world, instead of, because there's no point in building it on a computer and then importing it into a virtual space. That there's no point. You might as well create it in your environment.
So when it comes to AR, what's out there and interesting right now? It feels like we said before, like most of the promise of AR is still a bit further in the future. Yeah,
that's when we talk about the AR in terms of AR glasses or smart glasses or these kind of things where you're wearing something for the AR experience, like HoloLens and Magic Leap and the others. Then the glasses are very, you can only use them in certain specific ways, and it's always some kind of setup that you're in, and it's a specific application again. But AR is much more than that, and it's already here on your phones. You have I think IKEA Place was one of the first that explored building an app to try to see your furniture at home, or your sofa or chairs and stuff like this. All of this is moving onto the web, and doesn't need to be an application anymore. it runs as web AR, as it's called, and any shops out there that sells or that has an e-commerce setup like with Shopify or whatever, if they don't already use it, they will be using it in the near future. Otherwise, they can shut the shop down or close the shop down because AR is going to take over everything, from product photographs and stuff like that, because you can try and see it at home. This is what we call you have virtual try-on, you have product you can place in your real environment with your existing phones today, with the mobile phones and tablets that you own today can do this already. And that's definitely it. We do a lot in this area, and it's exploding. There's also hundreds and hundreds of authoring tools out there, so you don't even need to come to a company if you're big enough and you have people in your company that already work with 3D production models of their products. You can basically just export it to web AR in the near future. So like I mentioned, Shopify and those kind of platforms, they already is open for doing this. So like you drag a video clip or a photograph in, you can drag an AR clip in there, and it runs straight off the shop on your mobile phone. So that's AR, that's already here, if you will. The other thing I mentioned with what we call virtual try-on will become more and more. We have a lot of AR inside of all of our social media platforms like Snapchat and TikTok and Instagram and all these platforms. They already have AR capabilities both ways. That means it's using both cameras, both your world camera and your selfie camera. And obviously with your selfie camera, the most used out there is the bunny ears that you can put on yourself. People are using and people are using those for trying out glasses and jewelry, watches. And now already we see Snapchat and some of the others. Meta has also released a body tracking, so that you can basically stand in front of your iPad, or your friends can film you on a phone, and you can see yourself wearing some clothes, the latest something brand that you like. You can see yourself in it, like a digital mirror. So and this is happening now. And that's all based on AR technology.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, really, because some of those things, like the bunny ears and Snapchat, you don't even really think of them as AR, but of course they are.
Yeah, and that's where it started. The funny bunny ears and all this. That's where it started, and it's just these big like Snapchat and Meta that has both Instagram and Facebook filters. They're pushing this industry so hard, with especially with this kind of body tracking and stuff like this, where you can wear a coat that you like instead of just seeing a picture of it. So.
And I guess to some extent, like video conferencing and switching out to a virtual background is a sort of AR kind of thing as well.
It is. Yeah, it is. Also, in other places, if you start combining these cameras and what the cameras are capable of doing inside of different applications already, then you also have this term called camera commerce, which is where it's you know it from Pinterest and Google Lens, I think it's called, where you take a picture of something and it instantly recognizes it as a cup or some expensive Nike shoe or something, and then you have a million hits based on what it's so. Snapchat has built this into their latest release, I think, as well. So that you can just point at somebody's shoes and then it'll come up with it's this kind of shoe, and you can, by the way, buy it here. kind of thing.
That's
So
pretty cool.
So it does not that the user journey or the customer journey is becoming very, very short in that sense.
And it's also one of the things that's really, really useful already. It's not like it will take some kind of technological leap for it to become meaningful to people. It's more a question of just doing it right with the tools available.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that I think is the most important thing when you work in this area is to, understand your users, so that you pick the right platform, the right channel, because like AI is more or less on all of these different social media platforms. It's already on your inside of your browser, using your normal camera on anybody's mobile phone. It doesn't have to be the latest mobile phone. It can be 3-4 years old or whatever. And it can still run AR directly in your browser and stuff like this. So it's more a matter of understanding what is it we want to do, what's the experience, what is it we want to give our users, and where are they at a certain time. That's what's interesting, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess if you have any tips for like interesting web AR experiences or stuff like that, we'll of course put them in the show notes for the episode so people can take a look at some fun stuff.
I can definitely find some interesting latest state of the art kind of things that are happening out there right now. Another example with where AI is being used or combined with gamification and playfulness, I would call it. Is a campaign that was running in London, I think, where Burger King had an outdoor, traditional outdoor advertising on a bus stop or somewhere. And when you looked at it through your AR experience, then you could see smoke coming out of it, and the smoke then made a wayfinding to the nearest Burger King, so you could follow the smoke and
good.
get to the. So that's really nice way of making a creative, traditional advert become a digital, playful experience. We have been talking with some. We do a lot of work with some of the Danish or Scandinavian Clear Channel and some of the others that does outdoor media, and trying to push and encourage the creators and the creatives behind the campaigns, and to see this as an extra digital layer that they can play with and let their end users play with. So that is definitely something that will be more and more normal as well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is, I guess, a matter of sort of getting your thinking going and realizing that, we can do stuff like this as well. Yeah. So do you mostly get more work related to AR or VR these days?
I think we get more in AR actually, and we do also have seminars and invite people for talks related to how you can use AR actively in within the marketing and advertising industry, basically. So that is one of the reasons. I think in general, the amount of work that's out there is the VR is still being spent more money and more hours on creating VR experiences. But it is more related to games and entertainment, and because if you take the budget for, let's say, creating a 3D experience from scratch, then the customers will run away because games budgets are huge, and if you're doing them in VR, they're even greater. So
Makes sense.
so it's that is also one of the things that the metaverse will help, because like I mentioned before, the Nike Land in Roblox, which is created inside of a visual environment already created, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's basically just putting something in there that is unique for that experience, because the world already exists. The realm of the rules and everything is already created.
So you won't have to create everything from scratch.
Yeah. So and we use a lot of different tools. We use Unity. We use Unreal, which is also a game engine. We use even these, like I mentioned before, small AR authoring tools where you can basically drag and drop your existing 3D model into it, and then you can make it interactive or customizable and stuff like this. So there's a lot of tools out there already that is accessible for this. So.
We should put in some links to some of those as well to whet people's appetite. There's a lot of fun stuff we've gone through here. But I was thinking, if you were to pick something that you would like to see added, or that you feel is a missing thing for AR and for VR, what would that be? Like, is there a certain feature missing, or if this thing got better, then VR would be so much better, or something like that?
I think in general, I think a common format within this industry is something I think is needed. That means that if I have an avatar in in some, let's just say, Fortnite, and I want to have this avatar with me into another metaverse or another application, or I want this to be exchangeable, sort of. I think that some kind of I know that there's some people that are already thinking about this, and there's a lot of talk that it could be a possibility. But I think for this to happen, and for this to become a norm, then I do think we can't start from scratch every time. It's that would be definitely a nice to have if for somehow it's possible to take things, and obviously there's a lot of difference between a Fortnite, the realism of a Fortnite character compared to a meta-human or whatever in another, and then being some kind of weird character in some strange game, and but that's just the fun of it, I think. But we still need to be able to interchange somehow, be able to take some of these 3D and be able to move them from one to another.
Common interchange formats of some kind. Makes a lot of sense. But is there anything like technology-wise that you think I would like the AR tools out there now to add this thing, except for formats?
I think one thing that's going to change this whole industry in general is AI. Things that will be generated even purely by thought, basically. I want some grass, then there's grass everywhere. That kind of AI I know NVIDIA and stuff, they are already building. They have I can't remember what the tool is called, but it's basically a tool. It looks like a paint program where you can paint with your finger, and if you paint something that's green, then it's grass, and it becomes realistic grass. If you then draw with your finger a mountain range, it'll create mountains for you and stuff like this. And this is all based on an AI engine. And this kind of thing will also this kind of automated generation of things will become something we'll see a lot, I think, in the future, and it is something that are needed for us to. If you look at all the expectations of the metaverse, for example, then we do need these kind of extra help from the AI to generate these
of course,
huge worlds.
Yeah, and then you can suddenly start like reskinning the real world in AR, like
exactly
make the sun go down and make all the buildings red.
And you will have when the AR glasses become a norm as well. You if you want you live in a concrete world, but you would like there to be flowers and butterflies, then you could just have that, because that's the mood you're in when you're walking to the to work, or if you're walking your dog or whatever, and you don't want to look at the gray buildings. So you just change it because you can. Those kind of things AI will help AR definitely, and VR for that matter. So some kind of automation generation of stuff.
There's a lot of content to generate, so all the help is useful. So who's making the most interesting AR devices, I guess, right now?
Well, they are all making them. If you look at basically everybody is waiting for Apple. There's no doubt about it. And one of the reasons is because when you look at the way that Apple have done in the past with their products, they don't put a product on the market that's not working. That's true. That'll never happen. Then they'll wait another year if it's not possible to do what they expected to do. But all the things that Apple has been doing in, let's say, the past 10 years related to AR is all sort of things that they've added, even everything from AR Toolkit, which is like the code base that you use to create AR within inside Unity and other platforms, to build it onto your Apple devices. That even that they put a LiDAR scanner into their latest phones and iPads is also to make the quality of AR stick to the real world better. All of these things, both hardware and software related stuff, is all aimed at that they eventually will come with a pair of glasses that it will happen. But they won't release it until it's ready. I saw they took out another patent in was it last year sometime that that changes the lens dependent on your eyes, so that it's looking at your eyes, so that if you're using glasses already, it can adjust for your faults and stuff like this. That's crazy stuff, but that just shows how far ahead they are in terms of. That means that your prescription glasses, basically, AR can replace those eventually.
Wow, I like that one.
Yeah, and another when we're in the sort of crazy kind of future things, that Mojo, I think they're called, are doing contact lenses right now that are AR capable.
Wow.
So that basically you don't need it to wear glasses. It'll eventually be in your lens instead.
Wow, I need to look this up.
But I can definitely share some of the insights on some of this stuff. So
I appreciate everything.
But again, if like right now, the I think Nreal is the closest you get to. They look a little bit like a pair of sunglasses, little bit chunkier sunglasses, but they are AR capable and are not just a smart glass that can do one thing, but it can do all things. But the problem with that one is it relies on your phone, so you have to have a little wire that's plugging into your phone. It's not wireless. And that means it's already uncomfortable there, and it won't be mainstream. And then there's the other thing about it's very difficult, I think, to I don't know how many, I don't know the numbers, but I'm sure Apple has looked into it, how many people use glasses today. You have to get people that don't use glasses to use glasses for that reason. And that might be tricky.
And people who do use glasses will need to switch glasses as well. It's not it's not a small thing either.
No, it's not. So but again, an interesting fact is that I think for right now, I think they said 26 million headsets, VR or AR, is out there already.
That's quite a few.
That's an interesting number, I think. So,
more than I would have guessed.
Yeah, definitely.
It feels like the future is exciting here.
Definitely.
I want more of everything. So we're almost out of time, I guess. Is there anything else you would like to throw in at the end?
I don't know. Come join the revolution. make the next metaverse, and if you don't own some kind of headset already, look into what's possible, because it is exciting. Just like you mentioned to start with the Oculus, it's amazing what you can do. Even the playing table tennis with someone on the other side of the world, is stuff like that is just fun. And then obviously game entertainment related stuff is interesting, but apart from that, it's so much more, I think. Well,
thank you so much for coming on the show. This was great.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. It was really interesting talk.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Amer.
Tusen tack för att du lyssnar på Kodsnack. Vill du stödja oss? Tipsa en bekant om podden eller lämna en recension i till exempel iTunes. Du kan också köpa prylar med Kodsnacktryck eller stödja oss med en kaffe på coffee.com. Alla länkar och alla avsnitt finns på kodsnack.se.